Okay, so before you start this video, I watched it all the way through, and there's always some bumbling mistake. In this, I said Daredevil set records. I meant to say Deadpool because in the video, I was trying to explain how I believe Deadpool setting records and making so much money sent a clear message to Disney. And in my humble opinion, it is evident they got the message. So that's what I meant. You'll see the statement and you'll laugh. Okay. Everybody's talking about it. So I'm going to get in on this action because this was probably one of my favorite Marvel TV shows when it was on Netflix. I think to Marvel's detriment, I don't know if Disney Plus was the best move for Disney. I get it. Everybody has streaming content. They didn't want to just, allow everybody else to run this game and them not to get in on it. But I think now, again, I'm not a businessman, so maybe this is completely stupid and maybe this is just not the right idea. But in my humble estimation, my thinking, my little pea brain, Disney has stuff people want to see. The amount of money they could have made licensing their different TV shows, movies to different streaming services, man, it would have just been money going in their pockets and they would have no infrastructure to pay for these streaming services. Just like, all right, you want this over here, you want this over here, sure. Pay us this exorbitant amount, we'll make it happen. Nonetheless, Disney Plus came to be not necessarily a problem, but Disney has had some issues with really giving audiences what they want. They just haven't been doing that. But this Daredevil Born Again trailer, it seems like the things that I've been saying for the past, 4 or 5 months, I said a little while ago, I think somebody high up at Disney understands what they've done, how they've slighted the fans. I think the message has been received. I think Disney has gotten it. Now, does that mean that this is carried across the board with all of their shows and all of their IPs? No, I don't think it has, but I think you're beginning to see the rumblings of a change that will give the fans what they want. And so we're going to get into this Daredevil Born Again trailer and see what's going on. I'm not going to lie. I saw things in this trailer that I did not think I would see Disney do in no time soon. I definitely was not expecting to see this now, but let's look at it.
Thank you for finding the time.
So right out the gate, they didn't waste any time showing you this is going to be violent. Why do I think they did that? Because they know that fans of the Netflix series loved the raw, gritty, just beat 'em up feel of this TV show. That's what made that first couple of seasons so good. It was like, wow, this is Daredevil, how Daredevil should be done. I was never a super fan of Daredevil, but this definitely got me more interested. And this just goes to show, and I'm a comic book guy, but this is just not one of those comic books I really gravitated toward. But this just goes to show that you can take one of these shows, do this thing well, and actually get people interested in characters they didn't really care about before that. And this is a golden opportunity. If I could be king of Disney for a day, I honestly believe I could turn around Marvel Comics and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I 100% believe I could. And it's not because I think I know everything, but there's guys out there that love these IPs and have the knowledge. And these are the people I would bring on. I know exactly what I would do at Marvel. I know exactly who I would hire, what I would pay them, and what I would ask of them. And there would be, there's so many things I got going through my mind. There would be, let's say, laws of Marvel Comics set up. Anybody who gets hired, this is the law of Marvel Comics. You don't mess with the lore. Number one, you don't change the character to something completely antithetical to who that character is. You want a different character? Create a new character, pitch it to us, and we'll decide whether this will go forward or not. But other than that, do not mess with the lore and go changing characters. We don't need somebody to come along and change the legacy of a character. Now, I'm not saying that characters can't be updated. You know, oftentimes a character's backstory is slightly modified, keeping up with modern times. I don't necessarily have a problem with that, but changing the core of a character to where it's unrecognizable, I have a problem with that. I think many people have an issue with that, and that's why one of the reasons among many why comic book sales are probably struggling. Again, I want to focus on, the negative, but there's so many things I would do. But again, they showed right out the gate the violence, almost like they want the audience to know, hey, we heard you. Here you go. This is what you can look forward to seeing in this series.
I will admit, it's not entirely unpleasant seeing you again.
Murdoch meeting with Kingpin is
A lot of time has passed.
start off the trailer. I like it.
By the look of it, you've come up in the world.
I could say the same about you.
And he plays,
Mayor.
look, he plays such a good Daredevil, man. There's some people who take roles that you didn't know this was the person for this role until you saw, like, who would have known Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man? That dude is Tony Stark. When you think of Tony Stark, you think Robert Downey Jr. Same thing at Captain America. Captain America, Chris Evans. I mean, come on. The dude, they killed these roles. Man, what's his name? Charlie Cox as Daredevil. Man, oh man. This dude, he did his thing, man. He is Daredevil.
Serves his city. I can see you're not entirely convinced.
Can you blame me?
So imagine having an enemy like this, like Kingpin. You know what he did. If you watched the first couple seasons, it was crazy. And imagine this guy becoming mayor. Would you believe him? I wouldn't believe him. I'd be like, I don't know what you're up to, but I'm going to find out. And when I find out, I'm going to put this all to an end. And that's probably exactly the direction that this season is going to go.
Aiming the system.
Why did you stop being a vigilante?
The line was crossed.
It's hard to come to terms with a violent nature. Hating the power it has over us.
This is much more aggressive than I would have thought anything from Disney would ever be, like, at all.
This city can't go unchecked.
Sometimes peace needs to be broken. And chaos must reign.
John Bernthal, look, man, they bring the if Disney could do a Punisher series that's done right. Now they're probably, I understand Disney's avoidance with extreme violence. I definitely do, because Disney was always more geared toward children. This is kind of why I think Disney should have kind of kept Marvel as a how do they call it? Solely owned subsidiary, but separate from Disney, to kind of create some space between Marvel Entertainment and Disney. But, Disney being a company it is, I guess they can't be, everybody knows it's attached, but that would at least have created some separation where they can, do what they need to do in a Marvel universe with people understanding, yeah, this is not, Mickey Mouse, Goofy, Daffy Duck. This is something completely different.
Mind putting the hatchet down? I was raised to believe in grace. But I was also raised.
This is super, super violent. They're really getting to it.
to believe in retribution.
Now, this is what I do hope. I hope they don't go like 4 or 5 episodes in before you see him don the Daredevil cowl. I hope they kind of sew that up really quickly. Maybe first episode, in the first episode, he's got the cowl back on doing his thing. Just because, I mean, I can be patient, but I mean, I keep it real. I want to see Daredevil bashing some heads in. I'm not going to lie. This is definitely, you know what this reminds me of? This March 4th. Yo, that's going to be crazy. This reminds me of watching Deadpool. I did not expect Deadpool to be as violent as it was. I did not see that coming. I was like, surely Disney is not doing this. And it paid off for them. And I think, and I said this when I saw Daredevil, and I think my assessments are pretty accurate on this issue, this one issue. I'm not a know-it-all, but I think, look, money talks. Daredevil made maximum dollars. It made some big bucks, set records. And I think that sent a clear message to Disney. We need to get back to what these fans of these IPs like, because this is the only way we're going to make money. I've said this before and I say it again. There's people in my life that know I'm the comic book guy. So if they want to know if a movie is good, like if a comic book adaptation is good, they typically will come to me like, hey, this movie, is this any good? And look, I'm going to keep it real. If it's not, I'm going to tell them I probably wouldn't waste your money and go see that. And there are millions just like me who people go to see whether these movies are good. And I think the quicker Marvel and DC and all of these companies understand that the geeks that actually love this stuff can really propel this stuff to make you a lot of money. If it's just good, if it's good, none of us have a problem paying money for it. Look, if every Marvel comic that was coming out right now was a banger, man, I would be dead broke. I would be dead broke. So I'm kind of glad that, some of the comics are not so good. But I think there are many people in that same boat. This tells me, at least in my humble opinion, Disney is making an attempt to get back to form with some of these Marvel IPs.